This is the summary for Lesson 4, which is on comparing proportional relationships. So to make these comparisons, you have 2 or 3 proportional relationships. Think about the 4 representations. Usually you will be given information in more than one representation. So in this case, in this example, you're going to be given information for Claire in the form of an equation, and you're going to be given information for Jada in the form of a table. And you should be able to go through between all 4 of these representations fairly easily with some practice. And as you think about these representations, you should run this stuff through your head almost instantly. So think about the form of an equation for a proportional relationship. It's y equals kx. You know that k is the constant of proportionality. It's going to give you the unit rate. It's going to give you the slope of the graph. It's y over x. It's a comparison of the number of units in the vertical direction compared to the number of units in the horizontal direction. That gets to the unit rate. If this horizontal direction is 1 unit, then the number of units in the vertical direction is going to give you the unit rate. How many units per 1 unit in the horizontal direction? Remember, it goes through 0, 0. So think about that slope triangle. As you look at the graph, it slid right up against the axis, the x and y axis at point 0, 0. That makes writing the equation easy. You don't have to subtract anything from y right here or add anything to y. Nothing subtracted or added to x. It's just y over x. It's going to give you that constant of proportionality. In a table, it shows up as the x value is usually the value that's going into the equation. You're given that, and then you're going to figure out what y is based on that. So it's stuffing envelopes problem. I stuff 100 envelopes. That's the x value. How much money do I make? What do I get for stuffing that 100 envelopes? Well, you get a fee of so many cents per envelope. That was either 5 cents or 10 cents, if you remember. Remember to label the axes. Think about what axis is the y-axis, what goes on that axis. And oftentimes it's money. How much money do you make per thing that you're doing in work? And that's what goes on the x-axis. So usually the x values go on the x-axis, well, obviously, but the values in the left column are usually the x values, and the values in the right column are usually the y values. And remember that the y over x gives you that constant of proportionality. And so remember to think carefully about the units. So all this stuff you review every single time you look at one of these problems. So you don't write things out. You just start to be able to think about it and use it in your thinking of the problem. So in this case, the information for Claire is given as an equation. So y equals 14.5x. So she makes a certain number of dollars, and that number of dollars is a multiple of the number of hours. It's 14.5 times the number of hours that she works. If she works 1 hour, she gets $14.5. That is her hourly rate. That's the unit rate. How much money does she make per 1 hour? So this is the value of k, the constant of proportionality. So $14.5 for 1 hour. 2 hours is twice that. 3 hours is 3 times that. 4 hours is 4 times that, and so on. So 7 hours for Jada. This is Jada on the right. Jada works 7 hours. She makes $92.75. Well, how much is that per hour? Well, you take the $92.75 and you divide it by 7. It's going to give you the amount she makes per 1 hour. So that's the number of dollars. That's the y value divided by the number of hours. That's the x value. So it's the number of dollars per 1 hour. Once again, is the hourly rate. And so if you, in a table, if you do that for every row, it should give you the same answer. And if it's a proportional relationship, it will give you the same answer. In this case, it's $13.25. So Jada makes $13.25 for every hour. How do you figure that out? take any one of these and multiply it by the value of x. That's the number of hours worked. This is how much she gets per hour. So if you divide her total by that number of hours, that's going to give you how much she makes in 1 hour, $13.25. So that means that she makes $13.25 times whatever number of hours she works. So the number of units in the vertical direction is 13 1/4, I think I said a half, but 13 2500 times the number of units in the horizontal direction. So 1 hour, $13.25. 2 hours, $13.25 times that 2, times that 3, times that 4, and so on. Okay, her hourly rate is $13.25. Claire's hourly rate is $14.50. So how much more does Claire make every single hour? Well, she makes $1.25 more every hour. So those are equivalent ratios. As you look down this table, $19.75 divided by 7, $59.63 divided by 4.5, and so on. Those are equivalent ratios. They're all equal to each other. For Claire's situation, it's $14.50 per 1 hour. It'd be $29 per 2 hours. 3 times $14.50 per 3 hours. Those are equivalent ratios. And you can begin that with the unit rate. How much per 1 hour in each case. It's the constant of proportionality. So any of these you could call the constant of proportionality without simplifying it. But usually we simplify it to the unit rate because you usually want to know how much per one's unit. You want to know that unit rate. And so in this case, if you take the 2 unit rates, the difference between them, so it's how much Claire makes in an hour, how much Jada makes in an hour. Claire makes $1.25 more per hour. So every single hour, she gets $1.25 more. So in 20 hours, how much more money does she make? Well, it's 20 times that $1.25. 20 times 1 is $20. 20 times 25 cents is $5. Add them together, you get $25. So she makes $25 more. Claire makes $25 more than Jada in 20 hours. And that's it.